Hi, hello, welcome back to take 3 of this video. Welcome to a new set. I'm holding the mic now, which hopefully isn't too rattly, because it has been, this mic is a little bit rattly, but if I don't move it around too much, it should be fine. Also, hopefully the audio quality should be a little bit better with the current setup that I have. The video quality is hopefully a little bit better. I don't actually know if that's happening, but we will see. I have a blue screen behind me, which I have no clue how effective or useful it's going to be. Probably barely at all. And yeah, as I mentioned, this is take 3 of this video because I am scared of making this video for reasons that I don't really want to air out right now. But I'm launching a new channel. Not yet. 2 months from now is the goal. So November 13th is the launch date for the new channel that I will be making. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But I'm definitely terrified of launching it because my entire life I have not at all been outspoken in any way. I've been terrified of being outspoken. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to actually be talking about real world issues and things that like I'm very passionate about and I care about a lot, and I don't think that there's anything particularly valuable about my perspective, but I do think that more people need to be contributing to the conversation and more people need to be taking a lot of the issues that I'll be talking about on the new channel, which I guess I'll just go ahead and say. I meant to lead into this better, but I'm not good at segues when they're not scripted. I'm going to be talking a lot about systemic issues, which I'm not going to say the name of the channel, but that's part of the reason why the channel is named what it is. It's going to be talking a lot about systemic issues and trying to help push to solve them, which is no easy thing. But I'm also just, I'm joining a long line of people out there who are trying to fight for changes with systemic issues. Systemic racism, ableism, sexism. My brain is freezing, but I can't think about any others besides like the, I guess, typical 3 that you hear more about. But yeah, that's the goal of the channel, and it's going to be more video essay type format. I'm working on 2 video scripts right now, pretty deep into them, and I'm thinking maybe I can get 2 or 3 videos done by November 13th, which is the goal. If I can't, I might have to push back the deadline and not launch the channel on November 13th, but I really hope that I can launch it by November 13th, and then hopefully get another 2 videos out by the end of the year. I don't know. We'll see. They take a lot of work. I'm already like 70 plus hours deep on the first video essay. I don't know that that's a fitting title. I don't really know what genre of YouTube video they fit into. Video essay feels closest, but they're not. They're definitely going to be video essay-esque. Maybe it does fit. I don't know. I don't know why I'm being weird about what it's called. I'll just call it a video essay for now, and you can correct me if you think it's a different style. I'm not going for a specific style. I'm just making something I want to make and trying to contribute to a very important conversation. So yeah, I'll be talking a bit more about this as we approach it. I am working on 2 video essays right now. One of them is for this channel, and it's going to be kind of a media review. It's not going to be really talking about real life issues. It will be, but it'll be like not directly talking about them. It'll be just talking about how the show Blue Eye Samurai relates to a lot of real world issues, particularly in America, and where it has like some potentially good moments and bad moments related to them. I've been hyperfixating on Blue Eye Samurai, and I wanted to make a video essay that was kind of like a test to figure out how I'm going to make the video essays for my main channel. So I'm working on that while I'm working on the first video for my main channel. And I'm dozens of hours into both scripts, but I am nearing the end of the Blue Eye Samurai video. And it's kind of branched out into 2 videos, so I might have 2 video essays on my hand. One of them will probably be a lot shorter, but yeah, it's a lot of work. Like I said, I'm dozens of hours deep into both scripts, and the video that I'm working on that's going to be the launch title basically for this channel is nowhere near done. I'm on section 2 of the script of potentially, or no, I finished section 2 of the script. It's been about a week since I wrote it. I got too hyperfixated on Blue Eye Samurai, so I've been working on that for the past week, that video script. But for about 2 weeks straight, I was working on just my main channel first video, and I think I finished the first 2 sections of the script, and it's going to have probably 5. So I'm not even halfway done with it yet, and it's just the first draft. I have been editing and going back and changing things as I go, but it's definitely a lot of work. Like I said, I'm 70 plus hours in, and I don't actually know if I'm going to be capable of making 2 to 3 videos by November 13th, but I really hope that I can. We will see how things go, though, because I am still dealing with autistic burnout. I am still struggling mentally, but I am also having a lot of fun, and I'm very passionate about what I'm working on, and it feels really nice to be doing something. So, yeah. And like I said, it's going to be talking about some real shit, which I know that this channel has avoided, because I've avoided that for most of my life. Like I said, I've been terrified of actually speaking out about anything or speaking up about anything, including things that involved even my own safety, like my own dealing with my own mental pain, that kind of thing. Like, I didn't even want to speak up about that stuff. So I'm definitely scared of launching a channel and genuinely in-depth talking about things that I'm passionate about. Definitely scared of doing that, which is why this is take 3 of this video, because I feel like I need to word this correctly, and I'm not scripting it at all. But I think that's the gist of it. I think that's basically everything I want to talk about for this video. It doesn't need to be that long. If you don't like the things that I'm talking about, if you don't think that things like systemic ableism, sexism, and racism exist, or you disagree with the way that I'm talking about them, that's fine. You're free to engage with my content and disagree. I'm very open to having other perspectives on the conversation. That's one of the main goals of my channel, is to try and encourage that kind of stuff. I, however, will not be engaging in toxic, unproductive conversations. So if you're going to end up yelling in my comment section, you're better off, for your own interests, you're better off just disengaging with my content, because you will just be supporting my videos by screaming in my content, and I won't be responding to those comments. I will just ignore them, and you will be supporting my videos. So if you angrily disagree, it is best that you go elsewhere. But if you disagree, but you want to engage in like an actually productive conversation, then I definitely want to cultivate that kind of community. I am very open to being made aware of when I am wrong, because I can definitely be wrong. I'm fully aware of that. So I'm definitely open to that. If I'm wrong about something in a video essay, please do call me out on it. Let's talk about it. I want to know if I'm wrong. I've actually kind of grown a liking to not being wrong, but figuring out when I'm wrong, because like, it's inevitable. Humans are imperfect. I can't know everything. I'm going to get things wrong. I'm going to be incorrect about stuff that I say in videos, or I'm going to misrepresent things even if I'm not entirely incorrect. That's going to happen, and I want to be told that I'm wrong. I do not want to live in ignorance forever. I want to grow as a person. I want to correct myself. So if you disagree, that's fine. If you don't think, like I mentioned earlier, if you don't think that systemic issues, that systemic ableism, sexism, and racism, or homophobia, or transphobia, if you don't think that those things exist on a systemic level, or that they exist at all, then there's definitely a conversation to be had, a disagreement conversation to be had that I hope is kept civil. If it is not, then I will be disengaging from it, because, like I said, I just don't want to engage in that. It's not productive. It just makes people more angry on both sides of the conversation. It's not worth it. But you know, if you disagree that those things exist, or specifics on them, then well, I keep getting lost on what I'm trying to say. If you disagree that they exist at all, hopefully I can enlighten you on some things, because they definitely exist with my videos, and that's part of the whole reason why I'm speaking out and like trying to make the channel that I am and focusing on the things that I am focusing on. because there are a lot of people who just genuinely are ignorant, and there's nothing wrong with being ignorant. It just means that you don't know something. I'm ignorant to so many things, and I may stay ignorant to most of them. Like, an example that I've used before is I am ignorant to My Little Pony. That doesn't mean that I shouldn't know about My Little Pony. There are lots of people out there who are very passionate about that show. I know that there are other autistic people out there who I share some level of community with via, similar difficulties throughout our lives, who are obsessed with it and are hyperfixated on My Little Pony. Does that mean that I care? No, I'm completely ignorant to it. I just don't have interest in it, and I don't think that I need to any capacity. There's nothing inherently wrong with being ignorant. However, when it comes to someone in the position that I'm in, and I'm trying to talk about something on a public, in a public sense, I better understand that if I'm going to talk about My Little Pony, I better educate myself on it first before I talk about it in a public sphere. So, with that being said, I can't be a perfect My Little Pony fan. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm going to get things wrong even if I do research it, so please come correct me. Let's actually have some disagreements, and maybe my perspective on it is just wrong, even if I'm getting the facts right. I think I should stop using the analogy because it's just getting more confusing the more I use it, but I think you get the point. Because when it comes to me talking about real issues publicly, it does matter a lot that I am not ignorant and that I keep track of that as much as I can. And also, like, when it comes to issues that I'm passionate about, I'm still going to be ignorant about things, or ignorant of certain perspectives at least. And I want to close that gap as much as I can. I'll never understand all perspectives. I'll never even understand another perspective because I'm me. I can't step into someone else's shoes literally. I can talk to them about it, and I can try and see their perspective as best I can and be sympathetic and empathetic, but I can't become that person and understand their life experiences from their perspective. It's just not how it works. So I'm going to do my best to keep all of that in mind while I make the channel that I'm working on. And it's kind of what the whole first video is about. Well, not everything that it's about. It delves a lot deeper into a very specific topic regarding academia and issues in academia. But it's also going to be like a very meta video, I'm hoping, that talks about my lack of knowledge and how important it is to keep that in mind, especially someone in my position who plans to be talking about things in a public setting, like I mentioned. So, I didn't expect to talk about all of that, but I'm glad that I did. I've been wanting to. I haven't scripted out this video, so I wasn't entirely sure where it was going to go. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to close this video out with. I mean, I think I've gotten the gist of it out, and it's helping with my terrified nature of making the channel that I'm going to make, because I'm kind of airing out some of the things that I'm going to be talking about right now. Just going ahead and getting it out of the way, that I will be talking about some serious real-life issues. And if you disagree, then you're welcome to stick around and disagree in a civil manner, or you are free to exit through the door. You don't have to stick around. Also, sorry for slamming my mic a second ago. You don't have to stick around if it's not something that you're interested in. I would encourage you to. If you don't understand, if you're like I was 2-3 years ago and you're completely checked out of real world issues, I would encourage you to stick around. I hope that you will at least check in every now and again and try and learn about some real world issues, because it doesn't matter who you are or what your position is in life, they affect you and you affect them. And it's very important. I didn't understand that 2 or 3 years ago, and I don't think that anything I'm saying right now would have changed my position and made me start to care. It took me, it took a series of events throughout my life, and a series of particular pieces of education to get me to a point where I realized that I needed to care. But also, some people just don't care, and there's nothing I can do about that. I'll do my best to try and get you to see other perspectives, and I will do my best to keep myself open to others while I make this channel. But at the end of the day, if you don't care then about the issues that I'm talking about, then there's not much I can do to change that. And, that just means that what I'm making isn't for you, I guess. But again, I do hope that you'll stick around and try and learn some things, and maybe try and teach me some things. If you, I mean, I'm talking about people who aren't interested in the issues, and like myself 3 years ago would not have had anything about like systemic racism to teach me, because I didn't understand what it was to any significant capacity. I mean, I might have had some vague concept of the definition of the word, but I didn't know what it actually meant and it entailed. And that isn't to say that I do now either. I still have so much to learn, and I always will. But I'm at least looking at it now, and I do understand like a certain level of context, at least a basic level of context of the reality of systemic issues that we live in. And I want to talk about them. And like I said, I hope that you'll stick around long enough to learn some things and maybe understand that these issues are important, and that they do affect people on a daily basis. And, you know, it's not just for the purpose of education, which is another thing that my first video is going to be setting the tone for right out the gate. The working title right now for my video, for my first, like, the launch title video, is Informed in Action, because that's the position that I was in for a long time, where I didn't really care about taking action for a lot of my life, but I would still, like, stay vaguely informed. I would learn and see, like, tragedies and things like that were happening around the world and not understand why or what type of things might lead to those kinds of things. I would see like just general racist behavior towards people around me. I worked with people who experienced some like sometimes pretty intense racism that I've worked with at different places before, and I just didn't think about it that much. Like, I took in the information, but I just didn't think about it that much. And I was then, as I started to get interested in these issues, I kept learning about them and learning about them and learning about them and not doing anything. And so the first video I'm making is called Informed in Action, because it's kind of a video I wish I had seen 2-3 years ago when I was first beginning to care. I wish that I had seen it and realized that being informed is not the end-all be-all way to try and help systemic issues. It's not the way to go. I mean, yes, being informed is important, and you must seek out education and try and make sure that you, be able to accept when you're wrong and understand that you are wrong currently about a lot of things, and that will change over time if you're able to accept that you're wrong. And that doesn't mean that you're still going to be correct about everything. You're always going to be wrong about something. Humans are so imperfect, it's insane, and we will never be able to be correct about everything or understand everything. And that's fine. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't keep trying, but it's also exactly why I struggled with informed inaction for so long, because I just kept taking in information and I didn't want to act. Well, the footage cut out, but I'm going to keep talking because I'm on a roll. Like, for such a long time, I felt like I needed to know everything to be able to act in any capacity that would help. Or I wanted to act perfectly and act in a capacity that would help other people and not make anything worse and not contribute to issues at all. And realistically, that's just not possible. Or I wanted to be the hero of the world and definitely had and am still combating a savior complex of like wanting to be the person who saves the world. But again, that's just not realistic in any capacity. And in reality, you can't have perfect knowledge. You can't be perfectly informed. You can't know everything. And if you just keep seeking a perfect level of knowledge, then you will never act at all. Or I think another way I was thinking about like putting it earlier today is if you wait to do anything until your actions are going to be perfect, then you'll never do anything at all, because it just doesn't exist. And I've kind of realized that over the course of the past 2 months, as I've been dealing with my own mental shit and figuring out or trying to find my footing to start the channel that I've been wanting to start for a long time and figure out what I want to do with it. I sort of realized that at some point that, I was in that trap of informed inaction, and I just kept thinking that I needed to learn more before I could act. And I realized at some point that I always need to learn more, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't act, because if I always wait to know everything before I act, then I'll never act. So yeah, I hope that all makes sense. I think I'm gonna cut this out now because there's no footage for you to see now, so I imagine it's pretty boring. But I hope this made sense. I hope it doesn't put off too many of you, because I do hope that you stick around to support the beginning of my new channel in 2 months when I launch it. And I'll be keeping stuff up to date on this channel as much as I feel like it. And I will be launching a media review of Blue Eye Samurai a day or a few days before I launch the actual channel, to try and give you a taste test, basically, of what the new channel is going to be about, or like the style of the new channel. It's not going to be the exact same style because it's a media review, so it's going to be different, but it's hopefully going to get you a decent idea of what I'm going to be making, and hopefully will garner some more attention towards the launch of the new channel so that it can boost it in the algorithm. Because like I said, I'm actually gonna try to make this my job. And I'll be launching a Patreon sometime around there. I'm not sure exactly when. I'm not ready to launch it yet, but I do plan for Patreon to be my main source of income. I don't want to take sponsorships unless they're like really specific sponsorships, and I don't want to take my mind just went blank. I don't want to do merch. I just don't personally see a reason why I would do it. I mean, obviously financial gain, but that's not. I want to sustain myself with the channel, but the purpose is not to make a profit. So I'm not going to be doing merch at any point. I really don't see myself ever I don't see myself ever, like, especially with the point of the channel, I don't see myself ever doing that. Digital merch is different, which is basically what Patreon is digital merchandise of me, like, selling myself to you, and the idea of like supporting the channel, and also just me putting perks and stuff on the Patreon. But it's going to be stuff that, isn't contributing drastically to the issues that the channel is trying to avoid, like, a lot. It's a weird thing. Look, we don't need to get into this in this video, but like, merch on YouTube is heavily exploitative of like a lot of the clothing industry is, and product industry is in general, of like other countries that don't have safe labor laws like America does. So it's like exploiting people who are in terrible labor conditions to make cheap as possible merch while still making a profit off of it. It's weird. And there are other people who make really expensive merch because it like has proper labor laws behind it, which is good, but I still don't want to do that either, just because like I don't feel like selling you shit. So yeah, anyway, I'm not going to be doing that. And there are some specific sponsorships that I would maybe take, especially if it would help me make a living if I'm struggling to do so. There are companies that I would talk about anyway. There are companies that, there's no such thing as an innocent company, really, and they're probably exploitative and have situations where their employees aren't treated the best and that type of thing. But I think that they genuinely do more good than harm, and that's the reason why I would try and contribute to the success of those companies to a point. But anyway, there's some very few exceptions that I would accept as sponsorships, but I just don't know that I doubt I don't know that I'm going to reach that point. I'm fully expecting what I'm working on to get buried under the algorithm, like I mentioned. So, yeah, I don't know that, like, why I'm at all expecting that. Let me check something real quick. Oh my gosh, I thought my camera died. It didn't die. It just, okay, well, you didn't have to see all that blank screen stuff then. It literally just like fell asleep, I think. Okay. I thought my camera died. Anyway, so I hope you like the new setup. I hope you're interested in the new channel. And if you haven't watched Blue Eye Samurai, it's on Netflix. If you don't have Netflix, don't go get a subscription, because I want to talk about Blue Eye Samurai. I don't give a shit about Netflix as a company. But if you already have Netflix and you haven't seen Blue Eye Samurai, I'd recommend watching it, especially if you think you're interested in the same type of stuff that I am. It's a really good show. Well, it has its flaws. and I will be talking about some of those. From a quality perspective, it's a pretty good show, by no means perfect. From a commentary perspective, from a societal commentary type perspective, it's complicated. It's really good in some ways and kind of unfortunately mediocre in others. And we'll be talking about it in a video that I'm working on right now. But if you're interested in that, I would recommend that you watch the show before you watch my video, because I'm not going to recap the show. It's kind of being made with the expectation that people who watch it have already seen the show. I'll be spoiling a shit ton of stuff. Also, the show doesn't. If you are interested in things that I watch and you want to watch Blue Eye Samurai, I feel the need to issue a trigger warning for the show. It's like very intense, emotionally intense. I just want to mention that before you watch it, because the show doesn't give you a trigger warning, and I feel like it should, because there are some moments in it that I was not ready for to watch, and I kind of wish I had gotten a trigger warning so that I knew I was going into some really intense shit. So yeah, I just want to issue that real quick. If you are going to go watch that show, trigger warning, it is a very emotionally intense show. And it deals with some real shit. The show is called Blue Eye Samurai, which, if you know anything about, it's set in Edo, am I saying that correctly? Edo? I've heard it said Edo and Edo. It's set in Edo period Japan, in the 1650s. And if you know anything about Edo period Japan, which I didn't before the show, but I've looked into it now. If you know anything about Edo period Japan, you know that blue eyes were a signifier of someone who was mixed race. Particularly, I think I'm not an expert on eye color, but from what I understand, that's typically a signifier of mixed with a white person, and also there would be slight skin tone differences, and also the shape of the eye is slightly different. So there's a lot of things that would indicate it, but particularly I'm talking about the name of the show, Blue Eye Samurai, set in 1650s Edo period Japan. It is a show that definitely displays and discusses racism, and a lot of other very potent things like ethnic nationalism, very potent and dangerous things like ethnic nationalism and imperialism and ableism and sexism, which was really bad in Edo period Japan. It's intense, and it is made by Americans for Americans, pretty much, which is potentially, I am not an expert on Edo period Japan, so this is not my call to make, but it is potentially very offensive to Japanese people, or even just slightly offensive. I am not sure, but the place that I will be coming at it from when I talk about the show is from a perspective of someone who has clearly grown up in America, and has consumed a lot of Western media, analyzing the show for its relation to Western media and Western culture, because it's clearly made by and out of Western culture, despite the fact that that may be offensive to Eastern culture, particularly Japan, because it is about Edo period Japan, and it's clear that they did their research. Look, I need to stop talking. I'm hyperfixated on this show. I got sidetracked, and I think I just talked about that show for close to 10 minutes. But, I mean, I don't care. No one's going to really watch this anyway. I don't have any viewers left on this channel after not posting for basically 2 years. And if you're still here, then I appreciate you for being here. I'm just being realistic. Most people don't watch this channel anymore. So, yeah. I think that's everything. I talked about the channel. I talked about the video I'm going to be making for this channel. I guess a little bit of a teaser for that. If you like the show Blue Eye Samurai, you might enjoy the video I'm working, because I do enjoy that show. And I've been having a lot of fun working on it, despite how heavy some of the topics are. It's just I'm extremely hyperfixated and really passionate about these topics. So I've been enjoying actually trying to work on some stuff related to my hyperfixations. So yeah, I need to close out this video. I'm just rambling on, but I appreciate you for watching. I'm quite nervous to be making this video and to be airing out a lot of the things that I just talked about. For some reason, I'm just scared of, I don't know, existing in the perception of other people and not hiding a lot of aspects of myself. So I'll get over it. It's a big deal to me, but it's not to you, and it doesn't need to be. I'm making these video essays. Like, I am going to make them the way that I want to make them, and I'm excited and scared at the same time. So I guess that's the whole purpose of this video. And also, I wanted to have an update. I've been working on video essays scripts for 3 fucking weeks now with nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for it here. And also, I know I made a video like 3 weeks ago and you guys haven't heard from me since. So I wanted to post an update and wanted to talk about what I'm working on a little bit, instead of just sitting in my room working on it in silence, pretty much. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you're still here, especially if you were here, 2 years ago when I was still actually posting videos, thanks for sticking around. You don't have to continue to stick around if you don't like the direction that the channel's going in, but like I said, I would encourage you to try and stick around and learn some things. And yeah, I think that's about it. Sorry for the camera falling asleep halfway through the video. This is a very new setup. It's going to be janky for a little bit. I'm still getting used to it. And hopefully the blue screen was worth me going through a lot of effort to put it up. If it's not, I'm just going to take it down and go back to the regular window in the background. It's probably not going to work well. I can already tell, but that's fine. A lot of wasted effort is essential for making anything that's worthwhile making. So, yeah, I think that's everything. Like I said, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around. I hope you will enjoy what I'm working on. It'll be coming out on November 13th, and if I launch the Patreon before then, I will let you know. I'll post something. Probably won't do that before the Blue Eye Samurai video comes out, though. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to give it a good try for a while. So for those of you who are interested, I hope you will come along. And for those of you who aren't, no hard feelings. You've got your own life to live. I don't know anything about you, and you basically don't know anything about me. This is a parasocial relationship. I don't expect anything out of you, so you can disengage. I don't care. Yeah, I'll catch you in the next one, whenever that is. I don't know. I'm not going to be spending a lot of effort on this channel. I'm very focused on launching the new one. So yeah, I'll catch you whenever. Definitely by November 13th, though.